who really controls global trade? Does China still wear the old crown of world commerce? Or is India's rise quietly shifting the balance of power? Today, we go deeper into exports, foreign trade, and the hidden story of global investment. China's export numbers are staggering. Trillions of dollars every year. Electronics, machinery, apparel, almost everything. For decades, China's trade engine has kept the global economy turning. This story began nearly 4 decades ago. In the 1980s, China opened its doors to the world. Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms transformed a closed economy into the new heart of global manufacturing. Cheap labor, an enormous population, government land, tax breaks, and one clear message: come here, build here, we will support you. Global companies wanted one thing: low cost, speed, and scale. The US, Europe, Japan. Factories moved to China. Electronics, toys, garments, component. Entire industries took root along China's coast. Shenzhen, Shanghai, Guangzhou. Fishing villages became industrial giants. In just a few years, China became the factory of the world. Manufacturing in China once meant guaranteed profits, fast government decisions, loose labor and environmental rules, and a supply chain that worked like clockwork. Raw materials next door, packaging next door, ports just hours away. But history never stands still. Over time, China began to change. Wages rose. Urban living costs climbed. The cheap China era slowly faded. Then came deeper shifts. Tighter government control, data laws, tech regulations, growing scrutiny of foreign firms. On the global stage, tensions rose. Trade wars, tariffs, sanctions. Risk entered the equation. Companies began asking a dangerous question: are all our eggs in one basket? Then came COVID-19. Factories shut, ports jammed, supply chains snapped. The world realized overdependence on China carried a price. A new strategy emerged: China plus one, China plus another country. And that's where India entered the conversation. A massive domestic market, a young workforce, a democratic system, and a clear message: invest here. This isn't a story of abandoning China. It's a story of reducing risk. The world is redrawing its manufacturing map, and on that map, next to China, India's name is becoming clearer. To measure economic power, there's one familiar tool: GDP. By that measure, China's economy is massive, one of the largest on Earth. But an economy is not just about size. It's about momentum, direction, and the story of future. India's GDP is still smaller than China's, but its growth is faster. China is stabilizing. India is accelerating. Year after year, the gap narrows. Now let's turn to another crucial metric: PPP, or Purchasing Power Parity. Here, the picture gets interesting. China is still ahead, but India is close. Because in India, $1 goes further: more labor, more services, more output. So today, who's bigger? China. But tomorrow, that's where the real suspense lies. Companies like Apple, Samsung, Google, and Asus, once deeply dependent on China, are now shifting major parts of their production to India. In India, sectors such as electronics, semiconductors, renewable energy, technology, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, automotive, and chemicals are attracting large-scale international investment. India's dream of becoming a global manufacturing and R&D hub is no longer just a dream. According to 2023 estimates, China's average annual wage $17,046, India's $4,044, nearly 4 times lower. That gap makes manufacturing in India increasingly profitable. Once, China was a low-debt country, but over the past decade, China's debt has increased by nearly 4 times. Central government, local governments, state-owned firms, real estate developers, everyone borrowed. Where did the money go? New cities, thousands of apartments. Modern, expensive, but empty. Highways with barely any traffic. Airports where only a few flights land. They're called ghost cities. The problem isn't just waste. The real issue is that the debt taken to fund all of this is difficult to repay, and it's becoming harder with time. This is China's quietest but deepest economic risk. India has long been criticized for weak infrastructure, but that picture is changing. New highways, dedicated freight corridors, modern ports, more reliable power. China still has an advantage when it comes to logistics costs. In India, those costs are still relatively higher. That's because the journey of infrastructure development isn't complete yet, but momentum is building. And in economics, momentum is the future. An economy isn't built only on industries and infrastructure. Behind it lies policy. And this is where China and India take different paths. Decisions in China are fast. That's the biggest strength of a one-party system. There is no opposition, and what the state wants happens. But the other side of the coin is, when priorities change, policies can change overnight, without warning businesses if they're ready. India moves slowly. Policies take time to pass, debated in parliament. But once a policy is in place, it does not change overnight. It operates under the rule of law. Court protect it. And today's investors are not looking for speed only. They are looking for certainty. Global geopolitics plays a major role here. China has built its own sphere of influence, the Belt and Road Initiative, funding infrastructure across Asia, Africa, and Europe, in exchange for leverage. But that influence comes at a cost. International sanctions, a tech war with the West, and the red stain of chips and technology. India, meanwhile, aligns with many, but belongs to none. Although the USA is currently imposing major tariffs on India, this is mainly to weaken Russia's economy so that India does not buy Russian oil. From a Western perspective, China is a systemic rival. India is a strategic partner. And that distinction is reshaping foreign investment flows. Finally, the most powerful factor of all, people. China is aging fast. Median age, over 40. In the next decade, China will lose over 70 million working-age people and gain more than 130 million elderly citizens. It's like losing the labor force equivalent to France, while adding an aging population equivalent to Japan. India's median age? Just 30. A huge young population who will work, spend, and push the economy forward. So the final picture is clear. China's economy is still enormous, but debt is rising. Labor is shrinking. Costs are climbing. The population is aging. India is incomplete, but fast-moving. One side, a mature but tired giant. The other, a young, unfinished, but aggressive future. This is a battle between today and tomorrow. And the answer? The next decade will decide.